Hello, YouTube. The Parthenon is a former temple on the Athenian Acropolis in Greece, and it was dedicated to the goddess Athena during the 5th century before Common Era. Its decorative sculptures are considered some of the high points of classical Greek art, an enduring symbol of ancient Greece, democracy, and Western civilization. The Parthenon was built as thanksgiving for the Hellenic victory over Persian Empire invaders during the Greco-Persian Wars. Like most Greek temples, the Parthenon was also serving as the city treasury. The Parthenon replaced an older temple of Athena, which historians call the pre-Parthenon or older Parthenon, that was demolished in the Persian invasion of 480 before Common Era. Since 1975, numerous large-scale restoration projects have been undertaken to preserve remaining artifacts and ensure their structural integrity. Look at the photos that are attached to this video. In 1850, you see a desert without vegetation in the form of shrubs and trees. Why? And now we see everything overgrown over the past years, but why then did nothing grow there? Well, according to some researchers, that's because nothing could grow there after the so-called mud flood, which means that the global cataclysm was quite recent by historical standards. And one day I will describe more about the so-called mud flood and the sunken cities in Europe, for example, in Russia in particular, certain areas that have just look like they were flooded by mud and soil as an event that took place rapidly. But let's get back to the old photos. In addition, after looking at those photographs, you ask yourself, where did this giant tower go? In 1875, with the financial support of the German businessman Heinrich Schliemann, the tower was demolished. Isn't it interesting? Schliemann himself sponsored the demolition of this structure. Why demolish the tower? The date and circumstances of the construction of which have not been established for certain. Yes, it is now accepted, we should assume that the tower could have been built as part of the palace of the Athenian dukes who ruled Athens between 1205 and 1458 during the so-called Francocracy. But this is an assumption, not an established historical fact. The tower was demolished completely, and now it is impossible to establish who built it and when, and most importantly, why. I have a little bit more information about this structure. The tower was on the western side of the Acropolis, near the monumental gateway known as Propylaea. Throughout its history, the tower was used as a watchtower, a beacon, a salt store, and a prison. During the Greek War of Independence, the height of the tower was increased, and it was used to imprison the revolutionary Odysseus Androutsos, who was killed there in 1825. The tower's presence on the Acropolis was controversial, particularly after 1834, when the government of King Otto of Greece undertook to clear the site of its post-classical remains. While the tower was initially exempted from this project for its perceived aesthetic value, as well as its symbolic role in connecting Western Europe and classical Greek culture, it was seen as a foreign imposition upon the Acropolis by many in Greece, particularly archaeological figures such as Kyriakos Pitakis and Lysandros Kaftonozoglou. In 1875, when funding from the German businessman Heinrich Schliemann came, the tower was demolished to widespread criticism outside of Greece. So let's look back a little bit before the destruction. In the summer of 1874, Heinrich Schliemann visited Athens. He had been trying for a number of years to secure a permit to excavate in Greece, first unsuccessfully, petitioning for the site of Olympia and later for that of Mycenae. On 29th of June, he proposed to the General Ephorate of Antiquities that he fund the demolition of the Frankish tower, which he considered would cost him 12,000 francs. He explained his decision as a service to science, though it has also been characterized as an attempt to integrate himself with the Greek authorities and expedite his request for an archaeological permit. He believed that the demolition would be popular, remarking that everyone in Athens was delighted with the prospect, except for thousands of owls that lived in the tower. Schliemann was also granted the right to publish any inscriptions found during the demolition, though none eventually materialized, or so we're told. The historian of Frankish Greece, William Miller, later called the demolition an act of vandalism unworthy of any people imbued with a sense of the continuity of history and pedantic barbarism. Greek archaeologist Kaftan Zoglu and his colleague Koumanodis, however, writing on behalf of the Archaeological Society of Athens, defended the demolition as the restoration of the Greek character of the shining face of the Acropolis, pure and unsullied by anything foreign. This is a debate I have no part in. I am interested in the circumstances of the construction of that tower, very unusual tower, and what Schliemann was looking for. He was a very complicated personality, and I found some curious facts in the story of his discoveries because I was doing other research, and Schliemann was connected to it too. He was certainly a bizarre archaeologist, to say the least. I will leave it here. Of course, if there are any other facts out there that people want to share with me, that's fine. I just don't think there's anything. You find out that libraries burn in the ancient world and take with them immense treasure of knowledge. You find out that conquistadors destroy invaluable materials of ancient world culture, memories, writings, and of course not only by Spanish conquistadors. It happened in other parts of the world. In Russia, when the Cossacks, for example, subdued and conquered Siberia, I've described in my videos how idols, and I'm sure writing, whatever was there was destroyed. So you can't blame any race or any particular civilization for what has been done by human beings to each other for millennia. It's just sad. But today I wanted to let you know about this tower, and it's not a great mystery, but it is a mystery. Why was it built? What was stored in it? And what Schliemann was looking for. Thank you for your attention to my work. I'll bring you more videos about paranormal phenomena and also about enigmas of history or riddles of history. And if you can support my research, please do so. You'll find the links in the description to this video. Please like my videos. Please tell others about my work.